Now dear student, we are going to discuss question number 3.18, and in this question it is given to you, answer the following questions. Clear? 4 A, B, C and D, 4 parts are given to you and you have to answer all of these questions. Clear? So now concentrate on part number A. In this question it is given to you, a steady current flows in a metallic conductor of non-uniform cross section. Very important. Clear? In this question it is given non-uniform cross section. Fine. Clear? It means a steady current is flowing in a metallic conductor of non-uniform section. Now which of these quantity is constant along the conductor? Clear? So let's suppose I am taking cross section like this. Let's suppose this is a cross section. First of all I am talking about part number A. Clear? So in part number A we can say, let's suppose this is a conductor. Clear? And let's suppose in this question it is given a steady current is flowing. Steady current is flowing means definitely I can say current I that is flowing through this conductor is constant. Clear? So our objective in this question is to calculate or to find that which parameter is constant. Clear? Now number 1, current. So already it is given a steady current is flowing. It means definitely we can say current is constant. Current, this is constant. Clear everyone? Okay. Now what about current density? If we talk about current density is represented by J and this is defined as current flowing per unit area. Clear? Now you can say if we talk about from point A to, and let's suppose I am saying this is M to N. So let's suppose if we are talking about point from M to N, you can observe here cross section area is continuously varying. Clear? So when area is continuously increasing, we can say when area is increasing, it means we can say current density is continuously decreasing. Whenever we are saying we are having a steady or constant current. Clear? It means we can say current density not remain constant. It means we can say this one is not possible, or we can say this one is not constant. If we talk about electric field, now we can say actually area is continuously increasing. Clear? When area is continuously increasing, it means we can say number of electric field lines that passes through that area, it also increases. Clear? It means we can say electric field also changes. Electric field also changes. Clear? So this also not remain constant. Now what about drift speed? Actually we know one relation between electric current and drift velocity. Clear? So we know relation is given by I equal to NEA into VD. NEA into VD. Clear? So from here you can say if we talk about drift velocity, this is I upon NEA. Clear? Current is a constant, charge is a constant, number of electrons present per unit volume that is also remain constant. But what about area? Because this is having non-uniform cross-sectional area, so we can say area is changing continuously. When area is changing continuously, it means we can say drift velocity decreases. Clear to everyone? So area decrease, we can say area is actually changing, so drift velocity is also changing. Clear? It means we can see here this drift velocity also not remain constant. Clear? So it means we can say this one is also not possible. It means we can say out of all the physical quantity that is given to you, only current is constant. Clear? So part number A is clear to everyone? Yes? Now we are going to discuss part number B. In part number B it is given, is Ohm's law universally applicable for all conducting elements? No. Clear? Actually Ohm's law is valid for certain conductors. Clear? There are also some we can say conductors or the devices where you will find that Ohm's law is not valid. Clear? Especially if we talk about yes, we have to find here the examples. So if we talk about your vacuum tube, we can talk about semiconductors, we can talk about thyristor. So actually in all these elements we can say Ohm's law is not valid. Clear? Ohm's law is not valid means what? We can say if we talk about IV characteristics, we are not getting IV characteristics is a straight line. Clear everyone? So we can say yes, we can take here example like vacuum diode, or we can say semiconductor, we can say thyristor. All are the electronic devices where we will find we can say electronic devices or we can say semiconductors do not follow Ohm's law. Clear? So this is actually one of the limitations of Ohm's law. Clear? So this is all about part number B. Now if we talk about part number C, a low voltage supply from which one needs high current must have very low internal resistance. Why? Let us try to understand. Let's suppose here we have, let's suppose this is low voltage. So let's suppose this is E. Clear? We can say here we have resistance. We can say this is small r. Clear? And let's suppose if I connect this with a wire. Clear? I am not connecting here external resistor. So let's suppose if I want to calculate maximum current flowing. Clear? So I can say I maximum, this is given by E by R. Clear to everyone? Now in this question it is given a low voltage supply. It means this value is low. Clear? But we want that current that is flowing, it should be maximum. So we can say this R should be very very low. Yes or no? At that time you will find this ratio is we can say higher. Clear? It means we can say a low voltage supply from which need high current, it must have very low internal resistance. Yes, definitely. And why this is? Because if we want maximum current or we can say higher current, at that time this ratio should be very high, very high. Clear? It means we can say this R value should be very very low, as low as possible. Clear? So this is all about part number C. Clear everyone? Now if we talk about part number D, a high tension supply of say 6 kilovolt must have a very large internal resistance. Why? Clear? Now let's suppose we have input potential difference or input voltage. This is 6 kilovolt. So let's suppose if we talk about I maximum in any circuit. Let's suppose we are assuming external resistance is 0. Clear? So we can say here we can write this E by R. Clear? So this EMF is given to you 6000 volt. Clear? Now actually why we need a very high internal resistance? Because whenever we have high internal resistance, the current that is flowing in a circuit, it should be in limit. Clear? Let's suppose you are taking here a very low internal resistance. At that time you will find current that is almost 10,000 ampere or more than that one. Clear? It means we can say at that time the current is very very dangerous. Clear? So if we want to control that current, at that time we have to provide the large internal resistance. Clear? So I think part number D is also clear to you. Clear everyone? So this is all about this question.